Tonight, we look into why there's been a lack of party leader visits this election campaign to Prince George compared to other cities in the province. Plus, downtown Prince George businesses are looking into ways to improve security with the addition of more cameras. And SD 57 students are doing a voting exercise in the lead up to the provincial election on Saturday. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight, many in Prince George are disappointed with the lead up to the provincial election, as the candidates for two of the mainstream parties in the three Prince George ridings never made the trip to the northern capital on their campaign trails. Only BC Conservative leader John Rustad made one public appearance in the region, something one political scientist says is not a good look. Cheryl Jan reports in tonight's top story.
That was September 26th. BC Conservative leader John Rustad swung into Prince George for a rally. He addressed those in attendance before leaving an hour later. He is the only leader of any of the three mainstream parties to visit any of the Prince George ridings.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a good look. This is the largest, center in the province for 2/3 of the province. Economic hub, transportation hub, education hub, health hub. There's three ridings. If one of the leaders comes to Prince George, he can hit the three ridings within 10 minutes.
That's not to say the leaders have not been busy, with daily stops in a number of communities across the south.
Good to see all of you here today. Thanks for coming out for this important announcement.
Albeit David Eby did pop by the Northwest earlier in the campaign. In the 2013 campaign, Christy Clark visited the North, and in the 2017 election, both Clark and Horgan stopped in Prince George.
Ms. Clark was here last week complaining about the challenges that people face in moving in the Lower Mainland. I think people in northern British Columbia understand the challenges of urban life, and they refuse to go there. They want to stay here.
Meaning, historically, leaders have made the trek beyond hope.
It's only an hour plane ride. I don't think it's the distance. I think it has been a traditional, SOCRED, then BC Liberal, BC United stronghold. And now it looks like BC Conservatives are just going to replace those BC Liberal seats. So that's probably a big part of it.
In 2023, the electoral boundaries were redrafted, adding 6 new ridings, the majority of those in the Lower Mainland. There are 10 ridings in Surrey alone and another dozen in Vancouver. Chris Beach says that is likely why the leaders did not venture too far from those ridings.
Presumably because it looks like it's going to be a Conservative sweep. Nevertheless, former NDP Premier Horgan was here in the last election, and with the splits as well, with independent candidates running, it gives the NDP a much greater chance than they've had really in decades. It would be nice to see Premier Eby here, it kind of sends a message that Prince George doesn't matter.
But the fact of the matter is, there are 93 ridings in BC, only 8 of which are north of Quesnel. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
And a quick note to our viewers, we will have live coverage of the provincial election right here on CKPG TV from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Saturday night. Myself, along with Caden Fanshawe, we will be in studio along with political analyst Chris Beach, who you just saw, and former MLA Pat Bell. We're going to have up-to-the-minute results and analysis along with our team in the field, providing on-location interviews with candidates across the region. Make sure you tune into CKPG TV on Saturday night for all your local election coverage. The BC Conservative Party's recent announcement to replace SOGI 123 in schools is being met with concerns by some Prince George physicians. Dr. Ingrid Cosio believes removing SOGI would only exaggerate health and safety concerns. She says mental health issues like depression, as well as suicidal thoughts and attempts, are tripled when comparing LGBTQ+ students to non-LGBTQ+ students. The Conservative Party says it would replace SOGI with anti-bullying programs. But Dr. Lee Hunsinger Chang believes SOGI is already a non-bullying program.
We can see from the research that the longer these resources are available and in schools, the more successful they are at reducing stigma, at reducing instances of discrimination.
There's actually been research and a look at some of the issues like there's a concept of is this socially contagious? The more we talk about it, are we going to have more children and youth who are identifying as trans, for example? And we know that that's not the case.
2 people are dead following a single vehicle crash in Vanderhoof. RCMP say this happened last Friday just before 8:30 p.m. on the 5800 block of Sackner Road. Police say the 2 people killed were attending the scene of a single vehicle crash involving an animal when they were struck by another vehicle whose driver was impaired. No names have been released and this investigation is ongoing. Businesses in downtown Prince George are considering installing surveillance cameras to help prevent crime, particularly in the evening. The success of a similar system in Penticton is being used as an example of what cameras in downtown Prince George could look like. Adam Burles brings us the story.
At a recent meeting of the city's Public Safety Committee, downtown Prince George, along with the Prince George Chamber of Commerce, is looking to establish a security camera pilot program to help prevent crime in the downtown, particularly overnight.
What we're realizing is that when the doors of the business close at 5 o'clock, the business owners go home. They're not downtown to see what's happening. And we have our sense that a lot of the vandalism is happening when the business owners are not there.
A recent expansion of a pilot program done in Penticton inspired both downtown PG and the Chamber to create a partnership that will target significant issues businesses face due to theft, vandalism, and harassment.
It would do a lot for my peace of mind and for many of my neighbors. Overnight, we're not down here to deal with the issues directly ourselves that we might when we're are here during the day.
The program and cameras that are in place in Penticton use AI to detect crimes happening in real time and allows police, fire, and others to respond immediately, giving confidence to business owners.
The best solution will be. We'll see a decrease in this activity in general. It won't happen overnight, but at least some of the bad actors that are performing crimes might more realistically be dealt with properly, and those that need to be sent to jail could be sent to jail. The city of Penticton has seen some great results with that, and they're expanding their program significantly. And we're looking to do essentially the same thing here.
The next steps include working with city administration to allow funding for the cameras and install them in areas where they would be effective.
We have talked about it at a couple of the safety meetings, and now the opportunity is to work with administration to see if we can look at a partnership that would allow the city to fund us and allow downtown Prince George to look at areas that we think that we could attempt to install cameras where they would be effective.
Adam Burles, CKPG News.
The district of Vanderhoof is taking forest fires seriously and taking steps to protect the community. This fire that you're seeing now developed rapidly near Utsa Lake this past summer, forcing the community of Burns Lake on evacuation alert. Year after year, Vanderhoof is threatened by fires, and just this week, the district approved applying for funding from the Northern Development Initiative Trust under the UBCM Community Resiliency Investment Program.
This is the point of trying to advocate with the provincial government. You need to be able to advocate that this is a serious issue to communities. You take a look at Jasper this year. That fire started at the south end, and the wind took it within hours or within the day, took it through the town. That can happen to just about any town in rural British Columbia. And for the most part, it could happen in any town in British Columbia. It just doesn't have to be rural. But fire can happen and quickly happen, but we have to do a better job of planning exit routes, strategies on how to deal with fuel, all of those things, and then start eliminating that fuel that we can. And I think there have been some strong proponents in our community that are willing to look at that.
Schools across SD57 are holding mock student votes ahead of the election on Saturday, where students can learn more about the voting process and learn more about what each party stands for. Tommy Osborne attended a student vote and brings us more.
Students at DP Todd Secondary School were busy exercising their right to vote. While the majority of students aren't 18 yet, this voting exercise gives students a chance to learn what the process is like and what each party brings to the table.
It prepares us for when we're legally allowed to vote, so we're not going in there blind and then just having no idea what we're doing. I think it's a good preparation process for us.
It's really important that we allow students the opportunity to become involved in the electoral process so they know what to expect when they're an adult. And we're giving them a space where they can explore all the different party platforms and the issues that the candidates are bringing forward.
After learning what each party offers, what issues are top of mind for students?
Education and healthcare is what I'm kind of looking mainly at. Also just what they're going to do with their power that they're given now, you know, how they're going to lead this province.
Less inflation and stuff, less homelessness, less crimes, so people can be safer in the streets.
Rebuild DP Todd, please, very much so. I need it. It's terrible. Just improvements all around, better healthcare system, better education system, things like that.
I'm about to be an adult, so where am I going to live? How am I going to pay for a home or buy groceries and things?
I'm in grade 12, so I'm going to need to find a house eventually, right? So it'd be nice to be able to afford one.
While the votes don't count in the actual election results, the students say going through the process was definitely worth it. And Barker adds the preparation and research done was impressive.
We have been having daily conversations about what the parties are offering and what's coming out in the news. So it's just been a fantastic opportunity for them to see what's going on in the world around them. The kids have been really engaged with this process, and that brings me great hope for our future voters.
Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is currently sitting at $1.54.9 per litre at Costco. The lowest price in the province right now is in Kamloops at $1.51.9 per litre. Manitoba has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.36.4 per litre, while BC has an average price of $1.69.9 per litre.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
Last night, the Prince George Cougars limped into their second game of a 3-game Alberta road trip, having lost 4 of their last 5 contests. And things wouldn't get any easier as they took on the 5th-ranked team in the country, the Medicine Hat Tigers. But the Prince George Cougars were up to the challenge on this night, coming up with a big 8-1 victory. Everyone pitched in for Prince George. They had 8 different goal scorers in this game with 3 power play goals, and they went 100% on the penalty kill. Total domination by a Cougars team that really needed a bounce-back performance. They finish up their road trip on Friday, taking on the Lethbridge Hurricanes. The TSX is up 129 points to close at 24,690. The Dow Jones is up 161 points to close at 43,239. And CN Rail went down $1.38 to close at $157.93.
A cloudy and cool evening ahead for the Prince George area, paired with a chance of showers, especially in that overnight period, strengthening as you get into the early part of Friday morning. Here's our futurecast. This is what we've been talking about. So yes, Friday, as we get into kind of around 8, 9 o'clock into the noon hour, we are looking at periods of rain throughout the bulk of the day on Friday. That is expected to continue into Saturday and even parts of Sunday as well. So yes, over the next 48 hours, periods of rain is what the forecast is calling for, and with those plunging overnight temperatures, that does of course increase the chance of frost. So definitely keep that in mind, especially if you're doing any kind of early morning, late night driving. Highs tomorrow across BC, everywhere is noticing a little bit cooler temps and some wet weather in the forecast. So even the southern interior, Kamloops looking at a high of 9 degrees, even cooler in the Okanagan. Kelowna has a high of 7 tomorrow, rain in the forecast. Vancouver, rain in the forecast, of course. Lower mainland sitting at around 11 degrees for tomorrow. Over on Vancouver Island, Victoria has a high of 12 degrees. Pretty similar for Prince Rupert, and Terrace weather-wise looking mostly cloudy with showers expected. Highs tomorrow across the broadcast region. Everywhere's noticing some cooler temperatures for Friday. So Mackenzie area, high of 5 degrees. Showers and clouds expected. Similar conditions for Fort St. James. Vanderhoof as well over in Burns Lake. Even a chance of some wet flurries in the Burns Lake area tomorrow. Highs across the rest of the country. Yellowknife a little bit cooler tomorrow, high of -1. Edmonton area sitting at around 12 for their high, getting a mix of sun and cloud. Regina still getting some sunshine, though not quite as warm as they have been experiencing. Winnipeg area getting some precipitation after a sunny first half of the week. Montreal area still anticipated to get some sunshine alongside Toronto, highs in the mid-teens. A little bit cooler, though, as you move out into St. John's and the Newfoundland and even down into the Halifax area. Looking ahead, yes, periods of rain is the expectation as we're getting into our Thursday evening. We have a chance of showers and cloud cover, strong wind, and after that, Friday, we are looking at periods of rain pretty consistently throughout the day for most areas of central and northern BC. Here's our extended forecast. So for the Burns Lake area, good chance of some morning snowfall, actually, depending on how cool it gets overnight. Of course, that does, when you pair that with the precipitation, that's what you get. So chance of morning flurries for the Burns Lake area, precipitation throughout the day is the expectation, paired with some cloud cover. Cooler daytime high of just 5 degrees tomorrow, warming up a little bit, though, for Saturday with a high of 9 degrees and showers in the forecast. Mackenzie area, a cloudy evening ahead, a little bit cool as well, sitting right around 0 for the low. Friday has a high of just 5 degrees. It's going to be mostly cloudy, becoming rainy as the day gets on. Saturday, pretty similar, expecting showers in the afternoon at a high of 8 degrees. McBride area, Friday looks mostly cloudy. Good chance of rainfall throughout the day, drizzling off as you get into the evening, a high of 6 degrees. Tonight looks mostly cloudy prior to that, though, and an overnight low of -3. So, yes, it is going to be a little bit chillier. Quesnel area also looking at some cooler overnight temperatures. -1 is the low tonight, rather cloudy this evening. Friday, look at that. Yes, very strong chance of rainfall pretty consistently throughout the day. Friday, it's a little bit cooler, around +6 for the daytime high, and of course cloud cover with that. Prince George tonight is going to be relatively cloudy, a chance of showers, overcast. Again, that wind chill. Our overnight low tonight is -1, but with the wind chill, it will feel like around -8 degrees. So keep that in mind. Tomorrow, Friday, looking mostly cloudy, expecting rain throughout the day.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit cameras..ca to join the club.
Both the UNBC men's and women's soccer teams are wrapping up their 2024 Canada West campaigns this weekend. Jane DeMello brings us the up-to-date on the season of development for the T-Wolves.
The men's side opened their year with 2 road losses against the Cascades in Abbotsford, as veteran Connor Lewis scored the team's first of the season. They grabbed their first point in the home opener, drawing 0-0 with the UVic Vikes. The team would go on to drop 5 of their next 6, drawing their second game of the season with UBCO at Massage Place Stadium. In the T-Wolves' only trip to Saskatchewan, they grabbed their only victory of the campaign, defeating the Huskies 3-2 thanks to 2 points from sophomore Isaac Tate. They followed it up with a 4-3 loss against Trinity Western, and despite dropping 4 straight heading into the final weekend, they pushed the Pacific Division leaders, UBC, to a 1-goal loss. As they enter their final weekend in Kamloops against the Wolfpack, Connor Lewis leads the team with 4 goals, Isaac Tate leads the way with 6 goal contributions, and Logan Pierce leads all of U Sports with a Canada West single-season record, 91 saves. The women also got off to a slow start as they dropped their first 3 games of the season before grabbing their first and only win of the year so far, 1-0 over the Heat. Blake Plummer scored the game winner while Britton Hinchy stopped all 14 UBCO shots. The team followed the victory up, losing all of their next 7 games to this point, with their 1-0 defeats to Fraser Valley, Thompson Rivers, and Mount Royal standing out as their most competitive matches in the winless streak. As they're set to play the Spartans and Cascades to wrap up the year, Claire Turner leads the team with 3 goals, while Kira Heyman leads the squad with 2 assists, and Britton Hinchy leads all of Canada West with 109 saves. Jaden DeMello, CKPG News.
Tonight's CKP3 showcases the clutchest postseason plays on the hard court and the baseball diamond, as well as a massive milestone in the Steel City.
While the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty had both reached the WNBA Finals at least 5 times heading into the season, New York were still looking for their first title.
Ionescu will heave and hit! And hit! Sabrina Ionescu with the biggest shot in Liberty history!
Also looking for his first career Major League title is generational talent Shohei Ohtani, who helped the Dodgers get 1 step closer on Wednesday night.
16 out of his last 19. Typo numbers. There's a towering drive down the line. Ohtani's broken through. It is gone. A majestic home run into the second deck.
Ohtani is cementing himself as one of the top athletes of the 21st century, and among that elite list is the two-headed monster of Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, still doing it in year 19 and 20.
It's Malkin. Malkin down. Crosby to the front for Malkin. Save made. Rebound scores! Number 500 for Evgeny Malkin.
Gino found Sid for his 500th, and Crosby returned the favor to help Malkin become just the second Russian to score 500 career goals in the NHL to wrap up tonight's CKP3.
That's all the time we have tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, folks, Cadence up next with the Today Show. I will see you tomorrow. And remember, Prince George, if you ain't first, you're last. Have a great one.